So as the public health nurse here at UMass Amherst, my role today has been part planner, organization, inspiration, volunteer management, and coordinator of a lot of the events of the day.
My role here, I'm the Director of Emergency Management on campus. So what I was doing is working very closely with our partners here today in terms of preparing for and responding to the exercise here. So we helped design it with the MRC students as well as student interns that we had working with the department. So a lot of what we're doing here today is to help prepare for if we face an emergency.
So I'm the discharge and forms collector for the EDS drill. So that means when people come to me, we're going to take their discharge time, instruct them to come back for their second dose, and just let them know that they're like any adverse signs or symptoms they might see, and monitor them for 10 minutes before we send them through.
My role is clinical faculty at UMass, and I'm the contact person that partners with UHS to do our MRC drill each year. And I have 8 students that actually have leadership roles within the MRC drill.
So today, as a nursing student, I'm coming in and being one of the vaccinators for the vaccine. So in a real case scenario, we would set up these stations. Every student would have like syringes, a needle, medication, and I would be in charge of administering a vaccine.
We have an EDS plan, which if you didn't drill it, it really, the essence to it, it involves so many volunteers, so many community partners, so many campus partners, that if you didn't work together, if you didn't get to know each other in advance, the plan would be meaningless.
Every year when we do these exercises, we learn different things. We had the draft plan last year, we have the draft plan this year. We're constantly trying to improve how we do everything. So we took great lessons learned from last year and then incorporated those into the plan. And that's what you'll see here today, is walking through those and seeing more changes that we can make.
I think it's important to drill in EDS because this is a real life scenario. We learned last year that this happens on college campuses and that it's a real threat to us. So being prepared for this kind of drill, will prepare us for the future.
I think it's important to go through the process of the emergency dispensing site drill so that we'll know what to expect, what barriers there might be, and actually see what happens and then reevaluate it and change it for the coming year. So we use what we learned here for our future.
This is a situation that it's a high risk scenario with a low frequency. So it doesn't happen a lot, but when it does, we need to be prepared. So obviously it's really important that we all are familiar with it and get to practice it in a safe, contained environment so that if it does happen in a real situation, we're all prepared, we're all ready for it and know what to do.
One of the things last year we did was we focused on the impact of a meningitis scenario on an entire campus and an entire community. This year we're really focusing from the patient point of view and the individual, trying to really learn a little bit more of why, get inspired. Why are we doing this? Why would so many people go through so much work and effort for protecting the community?
I think one of the big differences, we started the day by doing a big tabletop exercise with our 5 colleges and our host communities, which was great. If you have an event like this, a public health emergency, it's always going to be a regional emergency. And then kind of getting to the afternoon, kind of looking from the other side of the patient's perspective. We had a great speaker this afternoon that did a tremendous job, I think inspired everybody here today. And now here looking at the exercise in the next, upcoming, I think it's just going to show the value of volunteers and the value of teamwork.
Well, I like that we have seniors running all the events instead of having mixed groups. I think it brings us better to work together because we realistically would be working with our graduating class, so it helps to learn to work with these kinds of people. I also think it's different because we had a different speaker and he brought a whole new element to meningitis epidemic.
Well, last year's event, we had someone from Princeton come, and she focused on what it was like to have a meningitis B outbreak at her campus. And this year, we really turned the table, and we are having it from the patient perspective. And so that is why we're really looking at meningitis from the patients, from the stretcher.
Last year, I was also in this role as a vaccinator. and I think we were giving a different type of vaccine. And there was a similar process in terms of like vaccination, but we had to ask more questions for screening about who was eligible to receive the vaccine and maybe if the person was pregnant or if they had allergies or something like that. But I think this is really organized. I think the group that created it this year did a really nice job, and I'm looking forward to participating.
I really hope that people will volunteer. I hope that they will understand that public health is everybody's job. It's not just the public health nurse's job. Public health should be part of everybody's thought process, whether you go into business, whether you go into healthcare, whether you go into emergency management. It affects every single one of us. So that's the big take-home message. Volunteer, be part of the solution, not part of the problem.
It takes a lot of people, a coordinated factor to prepare and respond to emergencies. It's really important that we educate our students. That's our job here at UMass Amherst, and work with the communities, provide them real-world experience so when they get out there. So what we're able to do now from that exercise is just to be a little bit better prepared today for tomorrow.
To take away from this drill, I would like, the people going through the drill to take away what like the importance of vaccinations and how it can help people. I also want the people who are volunteering here to take away the aspect of coming together and the sake of public health to treat the community.
To volunteer. We want people to continue to volunteer and be MRC volunteers after they graduate and to do this kind of work in the community because it's so needed and it's so important.
I think that people should take away how important it is to be prepared and the duty of every person to be knowledgeable about, in this instance, meningitis, and just be aware of the risks and what every person can do as an individual to help prepare the community.